Welcome to Attican Plays Railway Empire. All right, hi, this is Attican, and welcome to part 5 of our playthrough of the Transport Revolution scenario, which is included in the Great Britain and Ireland DLC. So, what we're doing now, if you'll recall from part 4, or maybe you didn't see part 4, we are growing London, and we have a target of growing London to 100,000. We're up to 70,000, and we're trying to make sure that while it's growing, we've done everything we can do to grow it, and it's growing at a nice clip, and we're trying to make sure that we continue to grow the rest of our little empire here while London grows. So you can see we're kind of pretty much covering the map that we're allowed to use. I mean, there are some cities that we haven't touched yet, but we do have our 3-city cluster that we started out with that has done great. It has kind of petered out a little bit. It's sort of maxed out. The problem with these 3-city clusters with one warehouse is that they're great for growing you up to a certain level, and they will absolutely grow the middle city because that's where all the goods go. But what's happening now, Manchester is just taking too much of the stuff, and Liverpool and Leeds are getting slighted a little bit. But they've done all right. Liverpool is up to 83,000. Leeds is up to 86,000. And Manchester, the middle city, is up to 138,000. So they're doing okay, but we can address that later on when we have some more time to kill, so to speak, and make sure that Leeds and Liverpool continue to grow. Now we've got a 2-city cluster over here that we started up, Wrexham to Birmingham, and it's doing fine, but I don't see any growth right now. Where are we up to? We're up to 119,000 in Wrexham. And we're up to 110,000 in Birmingham. See, now I just love these 2-city clusters. I'm a 2-city cluster fan. And in this case, we've got the warehouse set up with Wrexham, and then it feeds to Birmingham. And both cities are doing quite well. And then we go down here to the one we're trying to grow, London. And we've got London and Oxford in another 2-city cluster, this time with a pass-through warehouse, and they are doing great. We've got London up to 71,000, and we've got Oxford up to 70,000. Okay, so they're both doing just fine, thank you very much, and heading on their way to 100,000. So we also added another 2-city cluster, Peterborough to Hull. And when I left off on part 4, we were just starting to set up this line. Now we've skipped ahead just a little bit, just because it was easy on me as a lazy editor. So we've skipped ahead a little bit. We've put wheat in there to that, and we've added some barley into that line, and we've added fish into the warehouse. So we've got fish and wheat and potato or vegetables and apples. And I'm seeing a locomotive slowed. All right, why is that? Locomotive slowed due to missing equipment. This line is running directly from our logs into Oxford. We've got it coming down and running into this line. And we set up this line to run, one thing it does is runs this wool down through the city of Birmingham and directly into Oxford. Well, it picks up a supply tower, in fact, a couple of them, but the logs never do. So we've got to give the logs supplies. And we can do it. We could do it right here. Let's see. Is that going to cause a problem? Yep, it might. So let's go back here. Let's give the logs supplies before they ever get down there. Okay, so that takes care of that problem. Anyway, what was I saying? We've got the fish coming in and the barley, not wheat. And so let's just give, to finish that off, to be complete about it, we've got some easy ones here to do. Let's give them beef and milk. And we'll run beef and milk into that. And then we're going to kind of let the Hull and Peterborough do its thing for a while, because there's something else I want to play with in this episode that I think will be fun. Something I don't do much of, and really, really shame on me. I should do it more. Beef. Where was beef? Beef. Okay. So beef and milk. We can do milk from down here. Let's see. We don't need to build 2 bridges. Let's just build 1. Let's go like this and come in and join. There we go. Yeah, that one's pretty close. That's all right. That supply tower maybe wasn't necessary, but that's all right. I'd rather have 1 too many than 1 too few, as long as it doesn't cause gridlock. Okay. So runner John Bull, runner John Bull, runner John Bull. And then a question comes up. Should we run the Hancock? 18 and 17. 21. No, of course not. Of course we shouldn't. We'd be going backwards. All right, so we've got, all right, so that sets that warehouse up to take all it can stand. And look at this, Hull is growing already. It's popped through the 20,000 mark. It's just been sitting there the whole time. It was one of our original 4 in our rapid expansion, but it just sat there. We didn't do anything with it after that. And Peterborough's growing, so good. We're all good. Life is good. Now, what I wanted to play with while we're waiting on London to grow, and it just keeps growing rapidly. I just want to make sure that these X's don't mean anything nasty, and I think we're okay. All right, what I want to do is set up some express trades. We want to run some passengers. We've got this one line here from Oxford to Birmingham that's doing very, very nicely. And what I want to do is set up 2 or 3 more good ones, maybe some long ones that we can make some money on. So like maybe Manchester to London would be nice. A big long line for our 2 biggest cities, or well, Manchester's our biggest city and London will be up there. It'll be a big one soon enough. So we can either just run like a straight cross in there, a straight line, or I thought about, and now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I'm going to, but I actually considered running a line that sort of went around and around in a big, almost like a big circle around our section of the map, and let any of the passenger lines hook into it. But I think I'm going to stay away from that, and we're going to do this. We're going to put in another superstation in London, and we probably don't truly need it. In fact, I can show you the utilization of our London station is actually quite small, I think. Oh my goodness, it's really small. It's really small. Okay, we don't need another station yet. Okay, never mind. But in Manchester, what are we, how busy is this guy? We could, well, that line's very busy. We could open up 2 more tracks. We would need more stations. Shoot, let's not spend money till we have to. We can't expand because it's too close to this. Shucks. Well, never mind. We're going to do it anyway. Let's see if this will fit in there, and I hope it will, because we're going to need it in a minute anyway, I believe. Okay. Let's move it this way to give it room to get over those. Okay. If we can run a line from here dedicated passenger line, so I don't want to share it with other lines until I get to the very end. Hell, let's do it. Let's see what happens here. I think I picked the right two platforms. I think they match. We got a lot of bridges to deal with, don't we? Love bridges. Love bridges. But that shouldn't be our problem, I don't think. There's our problem. It doesn't like this bridge. So I think what we'll do here is just pull it back to here. It probably would have snapped into place there to start with. Okay, that track cost about $1.3 million, about $1.3 million. Pretty expensive just to be able to play around with, well, plus 160. So I call it $1.5 million. $1.5 million to put this in. Well, no, we don't have anyone there. Okay, a little less than 1.5. All right, we want to run a passenger mail only. From our new Manchester station to London. And for now, we'll have to run the John Wall. And run one from London to Manchester, passenger mail only. I didn't put, oh my goodness, I didn't put signals on it. No. I'm laughing because I don't know if you noticed that. Well, we may have to go back and check on that. That may be worth some investigation. Some of you got it, I'll bet. We may have to take a hard look at that. What just happened there? Okay, supply tower, supply tower, supply tower. Supply tower. All right. Now, set up a passenger mail line from Manchester 2 to London. And set up a passenger mail line from London to Manchester 2. And again, no, I did. It has what it needs. What's it waiting on? Okay, there it goes. That's 4. Let's run about 8 trains on this line. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, there's one big long line. Is it worth doing now? Now that we've built this big long express line, why don't we take advantage of it and run like maybe, let's see, Liverpool to, well, no, let's do Manchester to Birmingham. Birmingham. That would be an easy one. How busy is this station? It's very busy. Okay. So we'll put in a new station in Birmingham. And give it repairs. And hook it up with our express line. I got my lines backwards. Let's start over. Now we can set up a passenger and mail line only from Birmingham to Manchester. And set up a line from Manchester to Birmingham, passenger mail only. And we can run maybe 4 trains on that. And let's get all our employees here. Now, an engineer, a promoter. Guess what he's going to promote? London. All right. Yeah, we're almost done. So we'll be done here just in a moment. I want to get
quite an impression with your success.
one more line done.
Where canals and horse-drawn vehicles have faced their boundaries, small railway businesses are being founded at the moment.
And let's do one this way for London to Birmingham. So Birmingham to London.
I wouldn't have dared to dream about it.
London
Slowly, quite a railway
Birmingham.
mania is going on, and new businesses spring up like mushrooms. I would
And we're
like to
done.
articulate my explicit
With that.
recommendation to get rid of your new direct competition, as long as it is still possible.
And ooh,
If you address this too late,
Birmingham
it could happen that
London.
your company might not withstand this turbulent pioneer stage.
And London to Birmingham. Okay, so what do we got to do now? Connect 12 cities. We've got 9, and buy Don Lorenzo. So what's Don Lorenzo going to cost us? Slow down. Well, first of all, let's look. We're at 52. Oh, we're not that much bigger than the competition. This is going to be a job. $68 million. All right. How long we got to do it? To 1845, which would be 30 and 1840. We'd like to finish in about 12 years, I think, or so. We got some time. Oh, my goodness. They aren't going to make it easy for us. All right, we've got, well, let's see here. Engineer, conductor. All right, so now you see how very hard can be very hard. And I've never even looked to see where these competitors are. They're up here. Who's that little dude? All right, so I've had to edit my comments. My original comments here, I kind of misread this and wasn't thinking about the little hints and comments that our guide Robert Stevenson has been giving us. See how that company has started up with just these 2 cities, and I was saying, how can they possibly be $40 million companies and that's all they've got? And I had to sleep on it and think about it a bit. And what's happening here is these companies only just now have been formed. And they were formed because we were successful in building our railroad system. So now these other 3 competitors have sprung up, and they've got $40 million, mostly probably investment money. And what's going to happen is they're going to go out now and just rapidly kind of go out and build, as quickly as a computer can build, which is pretty doggone fast, they're going to start sucking up territory and expanding quickly. So we really have to cut them off at the pass in order to stop that from happening. Now, the good news is I got it right. I figured out exactly what to do to kind of stifle Don Lorenzo's growth. He's the one down there to the south of us. And, I did the right thing, so that was good. But I didn't understand. I thought they'd actually made a mistake. I actually thought that the developers had made a mistake and these companies had not grown properly. But now I see that it's exactly right. They are just starting up, but they will grow like wildfire because they have a lot of investment money, and they're going to expand quickly. You'll see the yellow one over there, I think that's Beatrix. She's going to take over Ireland and just take all of it. There you can see Don Lorenzo's already starting to come up toward us and branch out, and it's up to us to cut him off at the pass. And the good news is that while computer competition can build fast, we can build really fast. So what I'm doing here now is I'm going to make sure that all my cities have 2 stations in them, and I'm going to block out the competitor. So I don't want Don Lorenzo coming up here and building in my stuff. I don't want anybody coming from the north and coming down and building in our cities. We want to dominate these cities, and we just don't want to give them the opportunity to grow their footprint so that they can grow bigger and bigger as companies. So what I'm doing here is I'm literally just putting a second station in all the cities where we have only 1 station, and just to keep the competition out. And so I'll keep going with that, and I'll just wait here till the next thing comes up. So I think I'm going to have to just do a little narration here on this next part, just so it will fit together and make sense. So what we're seeing here is, again, I've got to figure out a way to cut off Don Lorenzo. So what I'm going to do here simply is we're going to run, and I'm also trying to play around more with passenger lines anyway. So we're going to take that whole southern England that has now opened up to us, and we're going to run city to city lines. We're going to do a rapid expansion on steroids here. And we're going to go out and take everything we can take. And you can see how Don Lorenzo is up there. He's in, I believe it's Cardiff. He has a station now. Well, we're going to run lines so that we are, and notice here, I can't come out that way because of the own business. That's okay. I'll come out the other side. But we are going to literally do, because we got all this money, we're really, our economy is really strong. It really is. And because we have all this money, we are going to run lines between every city down there, and we're going to put in multiple stations. We're going to use the rapid expansion principle, but we're going to make it a hybrid where we're actually, because we have all this money, we're further down the road than starting. It's where you really use rapid expansion. What we're going to do is run a city to city line. So we'll go down here to Hereford or Hereford. Somebody help me on that one. Hereford, I think, but I'm not sure. But what we're going to do here is actually go in and connect up that way, put in the second station using back-to-back the way we like to do them, and we're going to go find the next nearest city, and we'll go down there and we'll run a line to that, and we'll put a station in there, and then we will, put back-to-back another station and run it off to the next city. And you'll notice I'm not running any trains. I'm not double tracking or anything. Right now I am literally just grabbing turf. So, it's the Oklahoma land rush, and they've opened up the gates, and our wagon is going as fast as it can go to steal turf. So we are going to run our lines, make them as reasonably priced as we can get them. But the main thing is get those lines down and get 2 stations in each city. And we have to run at least a single line to connect them, or we wouldn't be able to go from like Swansea here over to Cardiff. We wouldn't be able to run that line because we wouldn't be connected to our network. So now we're going to go over here, and you can see Don Lorenzo's in Cardiff, but we're going to grab, we can put the other station in there. We're going to throw that in and run our line and just keep going. So I'm going to fast forward this just a little bit till it gets to the end. We're going to work our way all the way across southern England over to Dover, and then we're going to run back up to London. And when we get back to there, we'll rejoin the action. And I apologize for doing the fast forward, but there's a lot of gameplay left. And I will also tell you that I goofed up. I played this last part. That's over 3 hours of gameplay, just straight through. I didn't take any breaks. I didn't. I just got kind of obsessed with it, which is ridiculous, but I did. And I played it through. I got so tired that at points you'll hear my commentary sounds more like babbling, which some of you would argue it does anyway. But at its best, it's babbling. But it was even worse, even bad for me. So let's fast forward this just a little bit. Anyway, my point is, there's a whole lot of stuff left, and I don't want to have 14 hours of gameplay out here. I've got other. I think there's much more interesting videos for us to make in terms of this game, and I'd like to do other stuff too. Okay, now I'm going to return to the original comments that I made while I was playing. Okay, now what are we supposed to be doing? Buying him, delivering steel to Newcastle. Okay, let's look at that. Newcastle is up here on the coast. Here it is. And why in the world would they need steel? Because they have a steel warehouse, and that warehouse creates demand for 7 steel a week. That is, oh, this would be nice. Oh, why didn't that come along before I built all those buildings? Okay. I might win it. Did I win it? Yeah, I did. Promoter. Oh, okay, slow down. Where are we? I should do the same thing up here and make sure that, well, at any rate, what we're going to do here is build a steel industry in a large city. So that could be Manchester, it could be Leeds. Leeds is not quite big enough, and I don't feel like waiting. Manchester's dairy business, I think, is about to become defunct. Yes, it is. Bye-bye. Here we go. So we are going to put a steel industry in Manchester. And we're going to pump it up just as soon as we can. And then we're going to look up here and say, okay, we want to run a line to Newcastle. And that one's going to matter. So we're going to run a big boy station here. And we're also, if we can, we're going to put a small, I don't know if they'll let us do this yet, but let's just see. Until we connect it, we may not be able to do this. Nope. Okay. We'll take care of that in just a moment. All right. So we want to run a line into our new station here. Actually, that is not bad. Okay. And then while we're thinking of it, we don't want our competitor coming in here. Do we need both of these? Not really. Okay. So there's our line connecting. So now we can run a line from between Manchester and Newcastle, obviously, and deliver the steel. And we need iron ore. So we're going to buy that iron mine. It's really, well, whatever. Iron ore. Got that. And there's coal. Coal, where far out there? I've seen this one up above Hull. There we go. We're going to buy this coal. Okay, then we're going to run the ore from as far back as we can get it so we can have a nice run up to this bridge. Okay. Oh, and we're going to set these signals. Now, if you're wondering, why didn't it set the signals down here? Because when we made this intersection, we broke it up into a different section. Let's see if it went the rest of the way down to the city. It should have. Yes, it did. Okay. And while we're thinking of this, supply towers, of course. 1, 2, and we'll put one up here. 3. Okay. So now we can run a line between here, between our new mine and, come on, and Manchester. And how busy is this station now? Oh, it's not bad. It is a little busy. 1, 2, we'll start with 3. We may need more. And we're going to run from our coal like so. Whoops. Like that, and I'm going to give it an extra tower. Okay, and we'll set up a line to run our coal into Manchester. Okay, sorry. And let's go over here to our industry. We're going to pump this up as much as we can afford. Yeah, it looks like we can afford a lot. Okay, so we're going to need 2 coal and 4 ore a week. So 2 coal is right there. That's all that took. But I think the city itself needs coal in addition to coal. Well, it needs total of 3.3. So the city itself is burning coal. That's a new feature for this map as well. So 3, we're going to bump it up again to 4. Okay, good. And then up here, we know we need 4 ore. Now that's going to take us all. I can tell you, it takes us all the way up to a level 5, which is expensive. We need another 3 million just to get there. And we want to get there just as quickly as we possibly can. So go and go. All right, so now we're making our 4 ore. That matches the demand. That should match the demand in the city. Yep, and we're making 4 coal, which is enough. Kind of overproduces, which is fine. And now we have, and now once we set up our line, we're going to set up just a regular old automatic line. Get out of the way. Set up the line between Manchester, I think it's Manchester actually, and Newcastle. 1, 2, we'll run 3 out of it that way, and we'll run from Newcastle to Manchester. We'll run 1, 2, 3 the other way. Okay, yeah, I see our buddy's trying to grow, but he's not really getting very far. All right, so how are we looking here? Okay, Don Lorenzo. Oh, look here. Doc has bought 12 of Don Lorenzo, so that's going to be a bit of an issue too. We're going to have to pay a premium for these guys. Now, suddenly we're at 99 million and they're at 40. So something went wrong there, but now this is more like it. This is what we want to see. Oh, I know one reason. We build all those stations. When you expand and build stuff, it really improves your company value. It's even better than making money as far as your stock and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead. Let's just put this thing on hold on for a minute, and let's start running lines. I don't think I want to run this Birmingham line because we got to, well, no, it's not that busy. Never mind. We can do it. So we can run a line that goes like this. That's where these super stations are super. I could run 4 point-to-point lines in there if I wanted to. They're pretty awesome. All right, so we're going to run that line down here to Hereford. We're going to set up construction on both of these stations. And we're going to run signals. And we're going to run a line between Binghamton and Hereford. Passenger and mail only. 1. And run a line back the other way. Whoops. Passenger and mail only. Okay. slow down. And everything. Oh, okay. And who just grew? Hold on. Hull. Hull can take a new industry. Oh, they could do it. If we put a dairy in Hull, it can feed Leeds, at least, because we took the dairy out of Manchester. And it can then also feed Peterborough eventually when Peterborough grows more. So let's put a dairy in Hull. And let's make it a level 2. Okay, and pause. Okay. Back down here to our little network of nice little passenger trains. So at this point, we're just going to go through and set up these passenger lines all the way around the loop, all the way to Dover and back to London. So let's fast forward through this because it's just, the same process over and over. And Southampton to Yeovil. Oh, stop. We have an analyst. All right, we have an analyst. I hope he hadn't been there too long. Don Lorenzo, we need 48 million to buy him. So slow down. So we are going to watch me miss this altogether. We got $13 million. I'll bet I've missed him. Nope, still got him. Okay. I want you to decrease the price share of Don Lorenzo. Bang. And then we want to go in and immediately buy as much of him as we possibly can. 40%. Okay. So we got 40% of him in our first gulp. So that's pretty good. And what do we need? We only need 18 million to buy the rest of the open shares, and then we'll deal with doc shares. I'll show you what we do about that. And it's actually pretty simple. Costly, but simple. All right, so let's wrap up this episode right here. We have really been dealing with the competitors on this one. We've done a rapid expansion on steroids to grab turf down in the south, to cut off our buddy Don Lorenzo from encroaching too much on our territory, and we've started the process of buying him out. We got a first use of an analyst, and we will see the analyst in action a couple more times as we go along. So let's just stop right there, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for the next installment. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Railway Empire video. Thank you.